Yeah.
I'm so damn tired. The biggest jolt that I got from that movie was not realizing my can was going to make so much noise when I opened it in the opening credits. Like, I'm like, oh, I should open this can of soda that I snuck in. Sorry.
Right.
I saw you over there going, I'm like, I'm like, well, they do sell cans of beer here. So
oh, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Okay,
yeah.
but they open it before you go in, right?
Good question. I don't know. I've never gotten one, but they do sell cans.
That'd be great. You go in there. Boosh.
Like I'm having a nice cold one watching the rhythm section, or AKA shitty Kill Bill.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good.
Oh, it's a few different movies. It's that
okay, good.
with a little bit of Peppermint.
Thank God.
And
I was really hoping, like, because like when we got out of there, I was like, "Were you as confused as I was?" That was
I wasn't confused.
That was my foreshadowing to this movie sucked. I just wanted to.
It's also like I also feel like I saw this movie last year as well because with the Luc Besson movie Anna. Mm-hmm. It's the same damn movie, except in Anna she was undercover as a model.
Right.
God. I knew we were in trouble with this movie.
The minute we saw 8 months
Thank
earlier.
you. My least favorite thing you could put in a movie.
Christ.
And in this case, like that's been one of my least favorite cliches for a long time, especially after doing another Cinema Snob movie where we make fun of that in the beginning of it. In this, it was just a random scene that they just pulled an hour into the movie.
Was it like the end of the movie? It wasn't
no.
No. It was just the middle of the movie.
That's always cheap anyway. That's always just the producers having zero faith in their movie or their audience. But in this particular case, it just felt like they just were like, all right, let's stick something at the beginning here, and just clicked scroll and landed on a random scene, and they're like, all right, let's put that at the beginning of this, and then it flashes 8 months earlier after that. And then when it flashes back 8 months earlier, we're then introduced to Blake Lively 8 months earlier, a prostitute and a drug addict, because her family died in a plane crash. And I was like, do you mind taking this back a couple months earlier than this?
Yeah, thank you. So that's kind of what I meant by confusing, because the thing is, it did that all throughout the movie. It would we would just have like random bits and pieces of the story that we would then have to like later be filled in on.
I wasn't confused by any of that. I just thought it was shitty writing. Like, it's like, I'm not confused that her family died in a plane crash, and like one thing leads to another. She's a drug addict prostitute now.
Right? Yeah.
Weird. Like that I didn't chalk up to confusion. That I just chalked up to like, this is not a well written movie at all.
Well, then there's but then there's more like whenever we were introduced to B, I was like, first of all, I like
which one was B?
Exactly. Okay, so he was the trainer.
Oh, Jude Law?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like the journalist guy was like, my B was my.
Let's go back to that guy for a second. Because this is one of my Blake Lively's character in this movie, Stephanie, is one of my least favorite kinds of, for the sake of argument, let's call her action hero.
Exactly. Thank you. She wasn't even a good action hero.
No, because she makes everything worse.
She really does.
Screws up so bad through this whole movie to where it's like, why isn't Jude Law just doing everything?
Right, thank you.
Because there's so many times she screws up and he has to come in and do it. She gets so many people killed. She gets 2 children killed in this film.
Because she can't kill the target.
And then I don't even know why she's a part of this.
Right.
Because the reporter finds her strung out on drugs and is like, well, your family blew up on this plane. Clearly, I should bring you in on this investigation I've been doing for this terrorist network.
Right.
Sure, that's how that fucking works. And what happens? She messes up and gets this guy killed 15 minutes into the movie.
Exactly.
Jude Law comes in, I think MI6, I don't know. Jude Law comes in, is like, I'm going to train you to be this undercover operative. Like,
so
why?
Right. Okay. So that part I can fill in. What I gathered from that was that she was like. The journalist was like, okay, this is the guy who killed your family, and B is my informant in Scotland, and
that she finds quick.
Yeah, right.
Images in that that student center cafeteria.
Yeah. So, and that's whenever I leaned into you, because the file photo that they had right there did not match that. That wasn't the same dude.
He did look a little different. Yeah.
That was not the same dude. I was like, wait, what?
Like, I mean, it is the guy she was looking for.
Okay.
Because he comes into it again later on in the movie.
Yeah.
But you're right. That did not look like the picture that was on there.
I was like, so wait, is that the same guy? Wait.
I don't know. And she screws up this whole operation.
She really does.
I can't stand this kind of movie. Like, where, again, everything is either complicated or wildly convenient, like her finding him, or, I don't know, learning how to swim within seconds. God, I don't know, man, with this freaking movie.
No, you're right.
It sucks.
You're right. It does.
The editing is weird, too. Can we talk about the soundtrack, for instance?
Right! She walks into that penthouse. I'm sorry. What the fuck?
That was happening constantly. I'll tell you exactly what that is. That's the Gotti rule of we need to punch this up a little bit. So let's throw in a wildly out of place soundtrack.
Right, yeah.
It opens with playing Mama Cass. Patsy Cline is in it later. There's like an establishing shot of, I don't know, like Istanbul or something, and it's playing Elvis in one scene. Remember that?
I didn't notice that.
It's now or never.
Okay.
In one scene. Where, Why did that just happen? Is it random?
Right.
Random.
Right. I just figured somebody in the movie was listening to that, but okay. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's just oldies. They just, it's almost like they just wanted to cruise through their oldies CD collection.
That's what that was. I've seen this in movies before where it needs to get punched up. So, I mean, granted, some movies can like mask it a little, or at least find something that fits along with the scene.
Yeah, just no song in this soundtrack really.
It doesn't fit.
It didn't fit.
It's good music. Like, I mean, I'll be like, the songs are good, but but it just, in no way, shape, or form do you need Elvis playing in this scene that looks like it's, I don't know, out of Three Kings or or a Paul Greengrass movie or something.
Right.
I don't know. I was so bored. I was falling asleep in this damn thing.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, like I said, I was just more confused because we weren't really like, okay, so you know how last week I had a problem with gentlemen being very pretentious. This was the exact opposite. This movie didn't give us a whole lot of information to go off of. Whereas Gentleman was just like telling us stuff we already knew, this movie was not telling us enough. And I was like, okay, so is this B? And I'm like, okay. So then like during the like training montage, which by the way, during that scene where he's like, where he tells her to swim and she's like, I can't swim. He's like, you're a cliche. And I'm just like, this movie's a cliche. But like during that training montage, that's whenever he finally said the journalist, he finally referenced the journalist guy, and that he was his partner and all this other stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, so this is B.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a movie where the screenplay is adapted by the guy who wrote the novel. The dude who wrote the script also wrote the book that it's based on.
Interesting.
Which doesn't often work when that happens, because it's two very different forms of writing. I see that before, where someone adapts someone who's more so used to writing a novel and writing a screenplay, you'll find a lot of problems with the script. So
sure.
And I'm sure there's a lot of points in the book, for instance, that fill in a lot of those gaps, or at least maybe has like a nice lead up to something. Yeah. Whereas in this, suddenly those two are banging now.
Right. Thank you.
Sterling K. Brown.
Thank you. Yeah. No.
Blake Lively.
I was like, okay, so this love scene is somehow forced in. Like, why?
Yeah. There is no. This is an action movie where there is no reason our lead character needs to be the lead of this story.
To be honest, I feel like that trailer lied to us.
I don't know about that. It seemed kind of accurate.
That trailer, I don't know. I saw that trailer and I was excited for this movie.
You were?
I thought this trailer made that movie look fun. It made it look cool. And then I get this. Almost 2 hours of not fun and not cool.
Granted, I wasn't expecting much out of it because it is January. But granted, you know, like we like Bad Boys a lot. I loved Bad Boys.
Exactly.
That's a January movie. So you know what? Like, as much as people joke about January, it's not all movies like The Turning,
right?
Or this, but because it was out this month, I was like, I don't know. Plus, I saw Anna last year, which wasn't very good, and it's a similar movie. But I was like, well, the acting might be better than it was in Anna, which it is. It is better acted than Anna. But it was somehow, I mean, I got tired of seeing the trailer for this movie because I felt like I was seeing it in front of everything we were going to go see.
Yeah.
Like, this got to be the trailer where it would come on and I'd be like, okay, this is where I'm taking my bathroom break. But it was worse than I thought it was going to be.
Right, exactly. Same. But I had higher hopes for it.
Yeah, you were more so looking forward to this than I was. Yeah, of the two things out this weekend, Gretel and Hansel is the way better movie. And that movie's not even great. But I could say a lot more good things about that than I can this movie. This one, I mean, Jude Law's good. Blake Lively's accent goes in and out through the whole movie.
Yeah.
I kept forgetting she was supposed to be British, I guess. I don't know. Why? Why even make her? Sure. Why not?
I will give this movie one piece of credit, and it's the cinematography.
It's not a bad-looking movie.
I was impressed with... No, here's the thing. I was impressed with the storytelling that was in the cinematography. Mm-hmm. Like, you notice how the whole movie was from her point of view, and even when she was dazed and confused, we were dazed and confused, you know? So I did kind of like that to a point. to a point. I do think that there were some times where, you know, it would have been nice if a shot was a shot that was like supposed to be out of focus. Oh no, you can't see him. You can't. Fucking show us.
Yeah, there's a car chase that I liked.
Yeah.
There's a car chase that is done without cuts.
Yeah.
But even with that, I'm like, yeah, that was a well put together scene. But just go see 1917 if that's what you want.
Exactly.
Like, and Richard Brake is in this movie, and I really dig the hell out of Richard Brake. He's only in like one scene, well, technically two, because he's in the opening scene. He's the dude in the wheelchair.
Oh, okay, let's talk about him. For, you know, when we see him, he's wheelchair bound. He's like on oxygen, like damn near death. Dude, like, springs from his wheelchair, beats her up.
You know what? I'm all right with that, because the character's played by Richard.
But there's no consistency.
No, there is, because he's played by Richard Brake, and he's always crazy. So I'm like, that casting makes me be like, all right, I kind of buy that he just suddenly gets this jolt of energy and leaps out and tries to kill her. I really hated this movie, man.
Agreed.
I couldn't stand this movie. I won't go so far as to say it's as bad as Peppermint. Because this movie, at least in terms of its cinematography, is more ambitious than Peppermint. Anna was directed by Luc Besson, so it's a lot more stylish than this movie is. But the acting in this movie is better. Believe it or not, this movie's better paced than Anna was, and this movie's not even well paced. I don't know. Yeah, I thought this movie was crap.
Agreed.
I don't think you need to see this movie.
Nope.
Especially, you got Bad Boys playing now.
Right, yeah. Go see Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Hell, go see Gentleman. Gentleman was, I at least...
Gentleman's a lot better than this.
Yeah, I at least like Gentleman more than this.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like Gentleman, but I liked, you know...
Yeah, I like that movie better than you did. It's way better than this.
I'll still say go see Gentleman before this.
Skip this movie, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right.
Or you could brandish your eye patch and your hook for a hand, if you know what I mean.
What, and like watch Peter Pan instead?
Yar.
Eye patch, I thought you were going for a Kill Bill reference at first, but then I'm like, hook for a hand.
You know, yar.
Oh, were there pirates in this movie?
I'm trying to say pirate the movie.
Oh! I was like... I'm sitting here going
Read between the lines, Brad.
I'm that tired. This movie melted my brain. I'm sitting here like... watch like Pirates of Penzance? Like, sure, I guess. That's a weird choice that you have to make, but yeah, go with that instead. You could watch the Hugh Jackman Pan. It had just as out of place of a soundtrack in it. Didn't you always want to see Peter Pan where they're all singing Nirvana out of nowhere?
Ooh, really?
You never saw that movie?
No.
For 5 minutes of that movie, it turns into Moulin Rouge. They start singing Nirvana, and I think they start singing like Blitzkrieg Bop at one point.
Why?
I don't know, because they were coked out of their head when they made that movie. All right, guys. Next week is Birds of Prey, and I'm not sure what else. At least there's that one. So thanks. Oh, Laura and I are going to have a review up for Color Out of Space. Plus, check out the review for Gretel and Hansel. And go to patreon.com/thecinemasnob because we got the next week's Snob episode up there early for you. So I'll see you guys later.